The landscape of the WNBA is about to change in a big way, and it's something that could reshape the league for years to come. The rise of Superteams is no longer just a possibility, it's becoming a reality. With the emergence of new trends, investments in facilities, and leagues like Unrivaled, the WNBA is on the verge of an entirely new era. Let's start with the Indiana Fever, once labeled a poverty franchise, have started to shift their trajectory. Meanwhile, a new force in women's basketball, Unrivaled, is on the horizon, changing the way players think about their careers and influencing team-building strategies across the WNBA. Now, we're going to explore how the Fever are rising to prominence, how the Connecticut Sun might be on the verge of slipping behind, and how the introduction of Unrivaled could radically alter the league's future. For much of the past decade, the Indiana Fever were seen as a franchise struggling both on and off the court. With inconsistent play and financial difficulties, they often found themselves at the bottom of the standings. But now, things are changing. The turning point began when the Fever drafted Aaliyah Boston, one of the most promising young talents in recent years. The Fever's faith in Boston isn't just about her skills on the court, it's a larger statement about the direction the franchise is heading. Aaliyah Boston isn't just a centerpiece player, she's a symbol of the Fever's newfound investment in their future and their long-term vision for success. But it's not just about Boston. The Fever's leadership recognized that in order to truly turn things around, they needed to invest in their players, not just on the court, but off the court as well. That's why the Fever committed to building state-of-the-art practice facilities that rival those of the best teams in the league. These facilities provide a place where players can train, develop, and grow in the best environment possible. This move shows a commitment to providing their players with the resources they need to excel, and it signals to potential free agents that this is a franchise with a forward-thinking, player-first mentality. As we look towards the next few years, the Fever's investment in Boston, their new facilities, and their growing reputation as an attractive destination could make them one of the most formidable teams in the league. Many believe that by 2027, this team could contend for a championship. And with back-to-back #1 picks in the draft, the Fever are following a historical trend seen in other leagues that often leads to success. In stark contrast to the Fever's rise, the Connecticut Sun find themselves at a crossroads. While the Sun have been one of the more consistent teams in the WNBA, with several deep playoff runs in recent years, they face significant challenges moving forward. One of the most critical areas of concern is their inability, or reluctance, to invest in player facilities and modernize their overall operations. The Sun's consistent success on the court has often masked these underlying issues. They've made strong playoff pushes, even appearing in the WNBA Finals in 2019. But as the league continues to evolve, the lack of investment in off-court resources is becoming more apparent. Teams like the Fever, who are building top-tier facilities, are setting a new standard for what it means to be a professional organization in the WNBA. Without a clear commitment to creating an environment that attracts and retains top talent, the Sun may find themselves struggling to keep pace with other teams. As the Fever and other franchises continue to build infrastructure that makes them more appealing to players, the Sun's inability to do the same could lead to the loss of key players. In a league where player movement is increasingly fluid, a lack of investment in facilities and player development could quickly translate to a decline in performance on the court. While we're seeing a shift in how teams like the Fever are investing in their futures, there's another game-changer on the horizon: Unrivaled, a new league set to disrupt the WNBA's traditional dynamics. Unrivaled is a league where the best players in the world come together to compete during the off-season. Sue Bird, the legendary former point guard, now part owner of the Seattle Storm, has discussed the potential impact of Unrivaled, and it's clear that this new league could significantly alter the way free agency works in the WNBA. Unrivaled offers players the chance to form super teams, build relationships with their peers, and perhaps even influence future career decisions. This shift in player dynamics mirrors what we've seen in the NBA, where players form alliances and work together during the off-season to strategize for future team compositions. With top players spending several months together in Unrivaled, it's likely that these experiences will have a profound impact on their decisions come free agency time. Players will form bonds that could influence where they sign and whether they're willing to recruit others to join them. For teams like the Fever, this could be a huge advantage. Aaliyah Boston, already seen as a leader on the court, could play a role in actively recruiting other top talent to join her in Indiana. Her presence on a team could make it even more appealing to other high-caliber players. And as the Fever continue to build a strong core, they could become one of the first teams to take full advantage of this new reality in free agency. But players like Caitlin Clark, who has a fierce competitive spirit, may not actively recruit, but she will certainly expect her front office to surround her with talent that can help her win a championship. As teams like the Fever position themselves for success, the pressure will mount on other franchises like the Sun to keep up or risk falling behind. The rise of Superteams, fueled in part by the formation of Unrivaled, will force teams across the WNBA to adapt. The Fever are already ahead of the curve, making strategic investments in their facilities and building a team that can contend for championships in the coming years. But not every franchise is making those same moves. As we look to the future, it's clear that the balance of power in the WNBA is shifting. Teams like the Fever, who are creating top-notch environments for their players, will become increasingly attractive to free agents. Meanwhile, teams that fail to keep up may find themselves on the outside looking in. The era of super teams is coming, and with it, a new wave of player empowerment and team-building strategies that will redefine how the WNBA operates. Teams will no longer just build through drafts and traditional free agency. They'll have to contend with players forming alliances and joining forces in ways we've never seen before. The WNBA is entering an exciting new era, one where teams like the Indiana Fever are positioning themselves as serious championship contenders, and where the power of player influence and super teams will reshape the league. But with this shift comes a reminder that those who fail to adapt could be left behind. The Fever's investment in Aaliyah Boston, their state-of-the-art facilities, and the emergence of Unrivaled are all signs that the WNBA's future is brighter than ever. But the question remains, who will rise and who will fall? As we watch the league's landscape evolve, one thing is certain: the balance of power in the WNBA will never be the same. And if you made it to the end, you're the real MVP. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss out. Check out more of our epic basketball content. Thanks for watching. Stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next one.